everybody. Welcome back. It's Monday. Welcome to Fireside Chats with Kimberly. Thank you to Follow Your Heart, the sponsor for this week's talks. Prize packs for this month's contest have been graciously donated by Hodo Foods, Crofters Organics, Follow Your Heart, Cinnaholic, Orgain, and Shroomeats. I invite my viewers to enter the monthly contest at virtualvegfest.com and click on the contest tab for details. Entering is super easy just by liking and or subscribing to our social media and Virtual Veg Fest channel, YouTube channel. You're entered to win one of 6 prize packs. All right, here we go. This topic tonight, it was inspired by an article I recently read in the latest issue of Veg News, and it's all about being fat. And fat is a word that I have used when talking down to myself and trying to make myself feel badly for how I look and the way I show up in the world. But from what I've learned in this article is there are people called fat activists. And the point of that is to remind people that their value is not tied up in their weight. And so that was something really important. So I'm going to use that word. It is a bit jarring for me, and it might be for you too, but it seems that it's pretty important. So I welcome all of you here tonight. I mean, as always, you're always welcome, and I encourage comments and chat and questions in the chat. If you would like to share your story, please do. Please just post it right in the comments, and I'll put it up here on the screen and I'll read it out. And if not, that's okay too. If you just want to be here, and we'll be in this. We'll be in this together. I have been overweight. Hi, Anne. Hey, Anne, thank you for joining. I have been fat, really, most of my life. I was super skinny until I was probably about nine years old or so, and I've not been that since. I have been ridiculed. I have been, so it's obviously going to be an emotional talk this evening. Hi, Diane, thanks for being here. Since I was young, so since probably about the time I was 9 and started gaining weight, I have been told, reminded, that my worth is not the same as those who are what society deems a normal size, simply because my body is larger than, I guess, what our culture has decided is acceptable. And that is not something that you expect when you're a child. And when you realize how mean people can be about the way that your body looks when it looks different from others, that sticks with you. And it becomes something that kind of just impacts the view of yourself. Oh, thank you, Helene. Thank you so much. Let me just say, because of that, I've spent most of my life trying to be small, not just in size, but in personality. Anyone who's struggled felt, anyone who's been fat, we're just going to use that word, okay? Let's try to get used to it together. Anyone who has been fat, from what I've experienced and when I've talked to other people, is that even though we are taking up more physical space in the world, we are also invisible. We are led to feel like our opinions and our ideas are less valuable because we are fat. We are led to believe that our inherent worth as a human being, it does not exist. And we see it everywhere, right? I mean, making fun of fat people is still, it's like the one thing that you can do out in the world, in movies, in TV shows, that doesn't have a backlash. It is fully and completely acceptable to to make the fat person the stupid one, or to make them feel badly about how they look. I And it's interesting, right? When we live in a society like we do, as I was thinking about all of this, I realized that even as a fat person, I have been conditioned to believe that fat people don't have worth. I think about, you know, in my 20s, you know, just trying to lose weight, and I'd see someone who was heavier than me. And let's say they were wearing, a dress, or, something that was tight. And as another fat person, I used to think, oh, they shouldn't be wearing that. What? I know how much that hurts. That's how deeply ingrained this is in our culture. That those of us who have been on the receiving end can still have those thoughts. I guess the difference is that I wouldn't actually say that to a person, and other people have said that to me. Or and this applies not just outside in the general world, like, and I'm going to get to it, like there is also a lot of fat shaming in the vegan community. There are the way that you'll hear it from people who love you, right, is if they're not commenting on your body, and a lot of people who love us do, right? And they think it's okay. Oh, it looks like you've gained a little bit of weight. Okay, well, it looks like you're still a jerk. But anyway, it's I've kind of lost my train of thought there. Um when I first went vegetarian, and then even being vegan, there have been times where I have felt uncomfortable in telling someone, especially another vegan, that I'm vegan, especially if they are what society calls a normal sized person. Because there have been so many times where I have told someone that I'm vegetarian or vegan, they look me up and down and they go, "Really?" Because it's like unheard of that a vegan could be overweight, could be fat. But I got news for you. We are. There are lots of us. And you know why? Because food is good. And and we are, we're also like enjoying all these new options, especially these days, right? So many vegan vegan businesses that are coming out with these amazing different things to try, and amazing foods, and they're not just bowls of vegetables. So some of us are fat, and we're happy, because the point of being vegan is not about us. There are health benefits, of course, because there are a lot of health deteriorating things in eating animal products. But being vegan is about the animals. So being vegan means that you can eat burgers and tacos and cheesecake and ice cream and be vegan. You don't have to eat only, vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. I mean, Those are all very yummy, but so are the other things that I mentioned. And there's a problem too, right? Because veganism, especially people who either don't understand that veganism is a full lifestyle, or people who think that you need to be, like if you look at these like influencers, right, who are running around on the beach in bikinis, like there are a couple I can think of, and I'm just going to leave their names out of it. I do not know if they own clothing. They're always in bathing suits, always. And they're just running around, and so you look at these vegan influencers who are super thin and never wearing clothes, and that's what we expect vegans to look like, but we don't. A lot of vegans look like me. They have a lot of extra weight, and so when I've been told by people in the vegan community that it's embarrassing for vegans to be fat. Like there just is no room for that, because we need to show people that being vegan is not just doable, but is healthy and is the best way to eat. And you know what? I approach veganism from my heart, from a space of love and kindness and compassion. And I got to be honest, I'm pretty sure that's a more convincing uh, approach than someone who's just like, look at how hot I am because I'm not fat. Um, Yeah, Helene, it's just crazy. Like it's great that you're not getting it from family, but strangers, right? Especially with the internet. I mean, look, like I said, I've been fat for a really long time, and so I've had people say things to my face. But being on the internet, well, that takes it to another level, doesn't it? Because people really don't they don't see the person on the other side as a person. And to be honest, sometimes being fat makes people feel like you are not a person, that you are not worthy of your personhood. Um, and people will treat you that way. And what happens when enough people treat you that way is that you start to believe that yourself. And my life is like proof of that, as many of people who are fat would probably say the same thing. But the more people tell you that you don't matter, that you don't have a voice, that you are insignificant because you take up more space, physical space in the world, because you're fat, that you are not worthy, that becomes what you tell yourself. So, what does that mean? That means that you start to act that way. You treat yourself that way. And so you start to find relationships that also will keep this narrative going. You will find people who will treat you as if you are less than because you are fat. And they will tell you, I, oh, Helene, I love you. And this message is not just for me, guys. This message from Helene is for all of us. We all are so important and special. And because we are here, we have inherent value and we have something to say. And I have to be honest, as much as I would like to act like I've always been able to be free with my voice and share the things that are important to me and how I want to change the world, but I haven't. Inside, I always wanted to, but I couldn't, because there's so much in the world that says no. And it's just like accepted, right? But in the last, I don't know, 4 years or so, I started to do things. I joined Toastmasters. I went through a coaching program. I did these things that started to make me think, wait a minute, I do have something to say. And at first it was, I do have something to say, but no one is going to listen to me. Who can say this for me? I have things I want to do to make the world a better place, but who can put it out there because no one wants to look at me? But as I did these things and I had to be in front of people and I had to share all of me, and then I added meditation and self compassion, and it's all daily work. But it was the reminder that I needed, that not only do I have something to say, I'm the one who has to say it. And that is so important for all of us to know. Do not let the world that has decided that fat people don't matter make you feel like that is true. And the minute you do feel like that is true, you come find me. Find me here on the internet, and we will talk, and we will figure out how to get your voice out there, because you have something to say and you have something to share. And there is nothing more important than that. There, there are some companies. There's actually Compassion Co. I love them. The owner, his name is Andy, and Andy's like he's a fat guy, and he has I wish I had remembered to bring it upstairs, but I have a button that I bought from him a couple of years ago, actually at the Edison Vegan Fest. I'm pretty sure it was the Edison Vegan Fest, that just says it says, some vegans are fat, get over it. And like, so I have that on my farm sanctuary messenger bag. And when I go to festivals and functions like that, that's the bag I carry. And that's the pin that I have. And it started some conversations. In fact, down in Asbury Park one time I had it with me, and there was a woman wearing this shirt that had the same message on it. And we were able to be like, you know what? Yeah, we are fat and it's okay. And we're going to go eat some really, some really tasty food at this local vegan place. Right. And part of, the problem too, that I think makes people think that, being being fat is a problem, is that people don't understand that people's bodies are different. And for me, there is a weight where I hit where I am physically uncomfortable all day long. And I know that. So I don't want to weigh that. So when I hit that point, then, I do what I need to do to get away from that point. But that point for me is different than for another fat person. And if we could stop stigmatizing being fat, we would be able to be more loving, which maybe would, I don't know, like we'd be less stressed out. Stress has a huge impact on weight. Do people who are constantly fat shaming ever think about the fact that you're stressing people out so much that even if they only ate fruits and vegetables to, meet your guidelines, that they'd never make it there anyway? Because they're stressed out all the time because they feel like shit because you decided them being fat means they mean nothing. How about that? There's so many studies on stress and the impact on our brains, on our hearts, on the way cortisol is produced in our bodies. Maybe if you'd be nice to us and accept us for who we are, I don't know. But also, maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's okay. Lizzo, right? She's fat. she's also like an incredible artist. She went vegan last year. And so what she does is on her Instagram and TikTok, I think, she posts a lot of videos of her making, vegan food. And she also posts videos of her working out. Yeah, fat people exercise too. Wow, what a crazy idea. I do yoga every single morning. It's the first thing I do after I brush my teeth. I don't even get in the shower, nothing. I roll out of bed, I brush my teeth, I'm on that yoga mat. How many of you people out there fat shaming are doing that? Mm. I want to say too that I think it's important for those of us who are fat to really watch our language with ourselves. I can spiral real hard, real fast. And the more we feed into the language that we have learned from people who've decided that being fat makes us insignificant, the more we feed into that, the more we show other people that it's true. The more that we show other fat people, like, yeah, you know what? We don't deserve the same respect. We don't deserve people to care about us. So while self-love and self-compassion is important, that's not going to fix it, because I could love the shit out of myself for the rest of my life. And you know what? People are still going to fat shame me. That's not my doing. I didn't create that. But we can start to change the language about how we look at ourselves, how we talk about ourselves. So that, I think, should be the takeaway tonight. If you have ever been made to feel like you don't matter because of your weight, start talking to yourself differently, because you do matter, no matter what size you are. And just be here with me and with the rest of us. And it's okay. If you are fat and you love who you are and you embrace yourself completely, but you feel more comfortable yourself, not because the world tells you it's more comfortable to wear a size 4, but because you don't feel comfortable in the size that your body is, then go ahead and, lose weight, but don't ever let someone else tell you. I realized that I used to allow people close to me to comment on my body. And then after they'd been like, saying something awful, I'd be like, yeah, I know, I'm fat. I've gained a lot of weight. Like, and then they'd be, oh, I'm really glad to see that you've accepted that, well, now that you can say this about yourself, like maybe you'll change. I used to let people talk about me like that to my face. And then I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I'll start eating better tomorrow. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. What? We all have a story and we all have something to share. And no matter what, you matter. And I know I've said that a bunch of times. It's because it's important, and it's because you haven't heard it enough, and it's because I have to drill this point home. So if you are here and watching this and you want to share a comment or a story, please post it in the comments. I can't now remember if I mentioned this, so I'm just going to quickly, just in case I did. But there's this whole toxic diet culture, especially, certainly here in the US, and I'm sure elsewhere in the world. And it's just like there's so much deprivation and so much self-hatred that has to go into doing whatever you can in order to be um, thin or whatever. And there's even an organization, I got this from that same article, that's called Healthy at Any Size. And they don't encourage a vegan diet because they see it as restrictive, because they're only looking at it from this toxic diet culture. But it's important for us to remember that veganism is not restrictive. Veganism is leaving out victims. Veganism is respect for sentient beings. Veganism is how we make choices in our lives. Veganism is not a diet. Will you lose weight being vegan? Maybe. Some people have. Will you gain weight? Maybe. Some people have. Will you stay the same? Could be that too. Some people have. It is not a diet, and it is not part of this toxic diet culture. If you are vegan and you are thin, if you are vegan and you are fat, you are welcome here, because our focus is the animals. Our focus is changing the world and bringing more love and compassion and kindness so that we can have a, a world that, I don't know, is like worth living in, is not just sad and depressing all the time, that is supportive of each other. And there's so much power in being vegan. There's so much power in being vegan. And it's not about a diet. So if you're a fat vegan, hop on board. And if you are curious about being vegan, but you feel like you can't be because all vegans are stick thin and I don't know, at least that you don't either want to be stick thin or you aren't, and you feel like you'd be judged by being vegan because of the way that you look, don't let that get in the way, please. You can find me on social media at Did You Bring the Hummus, both on Facebook and Instagram. DM me if you want to talk about it, you want to share your stories. I'm here. And I want to help you because, like I said, if you are fat and you want to be vegan, I'm your girl. Let's do it. You can be vegan. You don't have to be thin. This is important. Okay. Thanks for being here, everyone. I love you.